Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about how the globalist propaganda machine is superbly well coordinated and obviously well financed, and how they've infiltrated all of the major news organisations in the world. It doesn't matter, the BBC in Britain, the ABC in Australia, the ABC United States, Reuters, everything has been infiltrated with globalist propagandists, and the coordination is quite intense. And they're able to centrally produce a script and then have it repeated all over the world within minutes. I mean, that takes a lot of organisation, a lot of structure to be able to do that, and a lot of loyal, committed followers that are all in the right places where they need to be in order to produce and disseminate this propaganda, and just blindly accept the central the downtown script writers. So there's been quite a bit of negative publicity recently about the illegal aliens coming across the United States border, and how they've overwhelmed the whatever local resources there may have been in El Paso. Now, the Republicans, of course, are about to take control of the House of Representatives, and they may not be quite as committed to this mass influx of illegal third world peasants into the United States. So already the propaganda machine is gearing up. So now in El Paso, we've got situations there where the local authorities, who must be very, very pro-migration, pro-mass migration of illegals, they've got thousands upon thousands of illegal, let me just repeat that, illegals that have arrived. And instead of expelling them or anything like that, they're opening up all the government buildings, facilities, food, everything is thrown. The NGOs doing a lot of this, of course, but they're provided with clothing and blankets and food and water and things that the average citizen couldn't get. But these illegal, illiterate peasants, illiterate in their own language, are given all these facilities and all the support. And without the support, they wouldn't have made the journey. Now, I'm looking at an article here in one of the major news sites, one of the biggest news sites in the world. And they're doing a story about the El Paso illegals. Now, they don't call them illegals. The word illegal or illegal entry or any is never mentioned, not once in the what it's about, a 700-word piece, I guess. And so the illegals are just described as migrants. And the typical migrant, of course, is a young man. Mid to late 20s, but instead the article goes straight for, there's a young woman and she's traveled thousands of miles with her little baby. Is the baby a boy? No fucking way. The baby is a girl, and for the photograph, dressed in pink. Oh, wow. Have you noticed how often they depict these illegal aliens only with female children and dressed in pink? Have you just noticed how often that happens? Well, here we go again. So she's this woman's supposed to have traveled on her own for 3,000 miles, or close to 5,000 kilometers, and done so with a 4-month-old female child and a female girl, probably 3 years old, toddler. Now, some may say that that's the height of irresponsibility, because they say it took this woman 3 months to cover the journey. That means the infant was only a month old. So a woman with a month-old baby is going to make a 3,000-mile journey. Now, you might say, well, look, she's leaving a war-torn area where there are bombs going off, there are murder squads running around, there's, lethal nuclear weapons, and there's, Hitler was there, Vladimir Putin was, but no, there's no war going on in the country that she left. It's a poor country due to corruption and mismanagement, sure, but there's no war going on. She's not threatened at all or in the slightest. So So why depict her as some sort of victim? She's not. She's a very irresponsible, illiterate peasant that's made a very long journey with a young child. Now, then they show this, the picture of her and the children looking very well fed, very, very well dressed, as she is. There's no sign of someone that's made an arduous, hazardous, but they depict the journey. She traveled 3,000 miles to across jungles and across mountains and jungles that were covered with rapists. Nazis were everywhere. Nazis just reaching out of the ground and grabbing at her and raping her and beating her and robbing her. All these things she braved. She braved all this with two little children, including a 1-month-old baby. Hitler chased her the whole way. So somehow she made what dedication, and she's done this to have a better life, to escape danger, to escape Hitler, and to have a better life in a first world country that because it's got much less corruption and is much better organized and much better structured, is a richer country, as you would expect. So this third world illiterate peasant, who is literate in her own language, let alone English, is coming to the United States. Now, they do mention just very quickly that this woman has a niece somewhere in New York or somewhere in the United States. So now, if the story were to be told properly, it's this woman has got a niece that arrived illegally in the US and who's been texting her and telling her how fantastic everything is and how you ought to come here as well. Don't worry about the laws of the United States. Just break the laws of the United States. That they don't mean anything anyway. No human is illegal. You can imagine all the sort of catchphrases. So you just come over here and just pay the people smugglers a few $1,000 and you're good to go. And the NGOs will help you. They'll give you all the food and they'll give you the water and they'll give you the clothes. And they'll even transport you from here to there, using their trucks and they'll give you vouchers to use on the trains for transport, and there'll be somewhere for you to stay every night, and the whole logistical machine will be great. We will help you break the law. There'll be lots and lots and lots of people that will help you break the laws of the United States, and when you get here, no one's going to stop you anyway. Even the government here is operating against the interests of the Constitution and against their own people, so you'll be fine to come. So instead of actually telling the stories it is of law breaking and all this sort of thing, they're depicting or they're telling the story of oppressed womanhood with little babies being got at by Hitler. And she's what a brave woman she is. 1-month-old baby leaving a country that's not in war for no reason other than she wants a free ride in a first world country. So if they told the story properly and accurately, then you'd say, but instead they've tried to create a sympathy story. Now, if you're a simple sort of person who doesn't understand, oh wow, she had to travel all that way with a little baby while Hitler was chasing her all the way. Oh, wow. Oh, gee whiz. We have to look after this woman. We have to look after because if we don't, Hitler will get her. And the absurdity of the narrative. But there you go. That's the propaganda that they push. And they use an endless number of euphemisms to try and cover up the actuality of someone who was assisted by the NGOs and the people smugglers to break the laws of the United States and to travel. And if the journey was so hazardous, why did she travel it with a 1-month-old baby? And so on. There's many questions that could be asked, but they turn it around into a feminist, feminine victimhood story. She's surrounded by rapists all raping her hundreds of times a day, robbing her, raping her. Hitler's getting her. That's the attempt that they put on there. And it's an outrageous misrepresentation of the reality and the actuality. But this is the way the globalists hit back against negative publicity. And there's a lot of negative publicity about that. And Title 42, which is about to end, which is going to see another upsurge, an uptick in illegals entering the United States without the government doing a damn thing about it, by the way. So So this is how they push back against the negative, in spite of the almost total control they have of the media, international media machine. There's still enough information gets out there to demonstrate just how destructive mass migration is, and this is something the globalists want to shut down at all costs. You've been with Tassos today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.